I want you to get together.
Hello, everyone. How are we all doing? Well, it's 10 p.m. for me, and I managed to find myself a bit of time just to make a quick video for you guys. I was stood downstairs holding my baby. He'd just fallen asleep in my arms, and I was staring outside of our patio doors, and I could see the stars because it's winter, and they're very visible in the north of the UK when it's winter time. I don't know what it is. Something about the air. Everything gets really thin, and you can just see a lot of visibility for the night sky. And it's always a bit of a shock every year because you're just going about your own business. Then one moment you just stop and look up and realize, whoa, that's above my head. You always forget just how awe-inspiring the night sky can be until you see it again every year. And I was just staring up at the stars and the moon as well, which I think it's a waning crescent. It was a very thin slice. I probably got that wrong. And it was quite impressive to behold, And I was just staring at this thing, and I was keeping my eyes peeled for the typical moving, swimming, glowing orb objects that I usually see on any given night when I just decide to look up for whatever reason. And I saw nothing tonight, and nothing to report, but it wouldn't have been an unusual thing for me to see if I did see one. And it wouldn't be an unusual thing for people to see if anybody had looked up at any time. This isn't a personal thing to me. Because this is the thing, because we've just had this hype in December about the Jersey drones, And I'm late to the game, I know. I did briefly cover this in my last live show. But I've been busy. What can I say? I'm better late than never, and here I am giving a bit more in-depth commentary than what I managed to come up with when doing the live show. So I was thinking about these drones, and I've been thinking about them all month since it began. And I am not convinced that this is, aliens invading us or anything of the sorts. And I am not convinced that there's something beyond human control happening here either. I really do think this seems to be, just quickly summarised before I go into detail, a psyop, for lack of a better phrase, a long-term plan in the making. Because most people have begun to see these things for the first time, and they're freaking out. It's like, what do we do about these things? What are they? What could they be? And as I mentioned earlier, I'm here looking up at the night sky, surprised that I haven't seen something like that today, because I've been seeing them for well over a decade since waking up, shall we say? And it's kind of, this isn't new. This is not a new phenomena. The only difference is now is that the media is pointing the camera at them and making the public aware that they're there, while also muddying the waters about these orb visions by also including drones in the mix as well. So there's always that plausible fallback ability for the powers that be to say, oh, people are just seeing drones and thinking they're seeing UFOs, You gotta always keep that underlying sense of gaslighting behind everything they do at all times, right? So you can never fully trust your own senses or know what's going on. So I think there are actually drones buzzing around, government-controlled, military-controlled, let's say, drones, in the midst of the orb sightings. And maybe there's an uptick of orb sightings, and they were anticipating this to happen because they know something we don't. So they released the drones to, again, confuse matters and situations. But confusion's the name of the game, and fear's the name of the game. We saw all sorts of theories coming about initially. People, whistleblowers coming out saying, oh, well, the only time the military would do something like this is if they're looking for nuclear material, stoking that nuclear war, the fear of nuclear destruction card. It's been a while since they've played that one, But then obviously you've had other whistleblowers. I think I saw like a 4chan post or something where they were saying, we're just testing the military drones to try and combat these orbs, but every time we do, they just get turned off, and we can't really do anything about these orbs. And we've known about the orbs forever, and basically they're kind of like zookeepers watching us and just observing. And anytime humanity gets a little bit too big for their boots or seems like they're about to do something stupid on a catastrophic level, the orbs would step in and deactivate whatever it is we're going to do, the weapon that we're going to use or something. And whether there's any validity to the anonymous 4chan post. I don't know, probably not, but you know, there's been no end to the wild speculation about what these things are, and there's always been that underlying theme and tone of like the government knows, but they're hiding the truth from us, you know, and this kind of bleeds into the whole disclosure narrative, doesn't it? And I think it's Stephen Greer, the guy who's been pushing for the disclosure movement for since forever, since I've been involved in conspiracy. And you know, we've had the government recently talking about unidentified aerial phenomena, you know, and it's been like shown they're talking in Congress about these things, and no questions are being asked, and details are being released, and they've been like slowly drip feeding the alien invasion card for a while, you know. And this event, which by the way, as of today, the 2nd of January, you know, 2025, I think they've just stopped, right? The drones have just vanished. They're not kind of around anymore, so it's done, and it's on to the next thing, isn't it? So there's that to be said, that the fact it's here today, gone tomorrow, and it always is with these kind of events. It always is here today, gone tomorrow. That's what I've observed as a pattern throughout the years, because the government, I say the government, you know, the powers that be, the controllers, whatever you want to call these people that are playing an agenda against us, they can't just immediately play the alien invasion card. They have to pre-program our minds to be prepared for that eventuality, but not because we couldn't cope with it, but more because they want us to react in a specific way, and they're getting the programming down for us to react the right way that they want us to react in when it does happen. So they have to do test runs, they have to see if the conditioning works, they have to see initial reactions, initial opinions, and when the opinions aren't quite going how they want them to go in a majority sense, then they need, you know, more work needs to be done before they can play that card. And I think that's what we're always seeing with these events, and this recent one. It's like a beta test. They're trying to see what the public will do, how they'll react first, because it is all ramping up to a fake alien invasion. They've been talking about this since Werner von Braun. I think he was talking about a false alien invasion was the final card, after protect space weapons to protect us against asteroids or something like that, you know. But that's obviously neither here nor there with the validity of asteroids coming from space, because even he, I think on his own tombstone, he made a reference to a Bible verse talking about the firmament. I think, was it Werner von Braun? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was him. So yeah, he knew what was going on. He knew the truth on this, you know. But the fake alien invasion has to be fake because, you know, if you're new to conspiracy, you know, welcome to the club. Space is fake. It's not real. It's not what they've told us. It's not a vast infinite universe full of endless planets and teeming with life that will eventually come to us. We're in an enclosed system. Biblical cosmology is the truth. And I don't know a model or the shape necessarily, and I'm not here to argue what it is or isn't shaped like. I've made many claims that I think it's way more psychedelic and trippy than we can interpret and imagine and understand from God's perspective, and I'm okay with that. But it's definitely enclosed. It's a closed circuit. We are it, people, and whatever extraterrestrial beings appear are certainly terrestrial. You know, extraterrestrial, maybe they're from an extra piece of land that we don't know about here within this enclosed system, but they are a part of this same system as us. They're just going to reveal themselves again. And biblically speaking, we know, you know, they've been here before. The days of Noah was rife with these monsters and their sons, and we call them fallen angels, and their sons the Nephilim, you know. And if the narrative I understand and I've come to understand through my research is true, that we are living in Satan's little season, when he is released from his imprisonment after 1,000-year reign, where Christendom rules supreme, then it's likely he is gathering up his old army, and he's summoning the Nephilim horde once more, and bringing back his commanders and chiefs of these armies and the parents of these things for that final Gog-Magog war. And when these things reveal themselves, the idea is to deceive all the earth to join them in this battle, to make war with God in a true Tower of Babel sense. But this will be more of a, you see that giant floating spaceship over there? They're evil invading aliens coming to get us, Come on, let's go get them before they get us, guys. Let's get them. And everyone will get the guns out, you know, and we'll all go marching across the broad plain of the earth, as it says in Revelation, and we'll make war with the camp of the saints, New Jerusalem, under the illusion that we're fighting against evil, invading aliens. And I've been saying this a lot recently, but I think it has to be made clear because this event has just happened, which is prepping people for mysterious creatures of the unknown from the void suddenly becoming manifest. It's kind of, it's not alien, but that's what they're going to tell you. And maybe they'll throw in like an interdimensional spiciness to it, a bit of a twist. It's kind of, yes, we're interdimensional time-traveling aliens or something, I don't know. So it gives them that mystical, spiritual edge, you know, of some kind, to justify the fact that they are manifesting and phasing in and out of reality in weird, non-physical ways. Because we're quite physical beings, and people may be expecting physical aliens with meat bodies to turn up, and that's probably not what we'll get due to the nature of these creatures. So they have to explain it somehow, so it's probably going to be like yeah, we're interdimensionals, you know. We're also from space, though, but we're also interdimensional. I don't know how they're going to play it. And they've been prepping us for these eventualities for a long time, and when I saw, you know, the orbs phenomena, and it's kind of, I was seeing videos cropping up all over the place, and I was thinking, like, I've seen all of these before. This is not a new phenomena, and it's just, like I said, the cameras are now pointed at it, and the normies are now seeing it. I'm sorry, I don't like to use that derogatory phrase. I'm just trying to make a point here. People who otherwise would have scoffed and laughed at the conspiracy theorists are now being shown the obvious and the truth by mainstream media, so now they believe it, you know, because the mainstream media, well, the TV said so, you know. It's that kind of basic understanding. And, you know, I'm going to give people credit where it's due. Not many people are falling for it. A lot of people are like, well, hang on. Are we being played here? You know, not everyone's like hook, line, and sinker, bitten at the bait and said, aliens are here. I think a lot more people are clued in now, thanks to the conspiracy theorists like myself screaming in the corner for over a decade that this is a big deception coming along the way. I think maybe we've managed to at least sway a minority of these people enough that they can then tell their friends and family this aspect, so it's always there in the back of the mind, you know. if we're lucky. Maybe I'm being optimistic there, who knows. Maybe everything we've done has fallen on deaf ears and people just can't wait for aliens to turn up and stop the drudgery and misery of the day-to-day grind, you know. Please, aliens, just turn up and make something different happen. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are living day-to-day like that, and they're excited at the prospect of aliens appearing, but so far what we're seeing isn't like flying saucers anymore, like in the olden days. We're seeing strange, glowing, metallic, liquid-style morphing objects in the sky. It's kind of, what the hell is this supposed to be? And I remember back in the day, in the 2011, 2012 days, seeing cigar-shaped metallic objects just floating in the sky, or, like I said, blobs of like mercury-looking things just angling and shining and morphing and blobbing through the sky. You know, there was loads of grainy 480p level grainy footage around back in the day showing all these things and strange light phenomena and what looked like stars just swimming through the air and that classic glowing orb making a crop circle video, if anyone remembers that from back in the day. And it's kind of, you know, these things aren't a new image, a new thing to behold. There have been plenty of captured footage of these things for a while, at least since smartphones have been around, more prominently. I think, was it the Phoenix Lights phenomena as well? That was even before that. People have been seeing these for a long time, you know, and they do look odd. They do look shape-shifty and globular and forever moving and unstable in some way. So, opening up the realms of speculation here, what we are looking at, you know, are we looking at the manifestation of angels, which is one theory that goes around quite a lot? I don't think so. I think angels can appear as men, and likely would be among us as men. I think they can shapeshift in any form they want, but from what I can tell, they tend to have very specific forms. The seraphim, for example, having a dragon-like form, or the Ophanim, looking like wheels within wheels covered in eyes, and the lower angels look like humans with wings. And it's kind of, there are many levels. You've got the living creatures with the four heads, and you've got the cherubim. There's a plethora of angelic shapes, and glowing orbs doesn't tend to come under that category, I don't think. But it could be. But at the same time, it could be energy manifesting, and because we are not a cut and dry physical world as much as people like to believe we are, we are an electromagnetic universe creation of sorts, an enclosed electromagnetic thing, and there's a trippy psychedelic nature to reality. There's a spirit realm of energy and form, as the woof to the warp of our physical, tangible 3D reality. And sometimes I think there's a bit of a bleed between the two, and we may be seeing lights manifesting in trippy, organic-like ways, but it's simply just a bleed through of the movement of electromagnetic energy, which we can only perceive as odd-looking lights, because our perceptions aren't quite high enough through our limited light spectrum bandwidth to see it in any other way, shape, or form. But if we had the full capacity to see into the spirit realm, think about, you just took a hit of DMT, for example, and you had a look at it or something like that, and opened the floodgates of information through your pupils, you probably would see a lot more than an orb flying around. You'd see something incomprehensible and indescribable from our minimalistic 3D limited view. But what we're actually looking at is just our ability to see the indescribable object is limited to lights and orbs when they do manifest. So maybe the powers that be know that there's like a thinning of the veil or something, and people are going to start seeing more of these things manifest, just naturally, because that's just how the universe works and how nature works, and it's kind of uncontrollable, and they can't stop it. They're not conscious necessarily, these things, but they are certainly going to appear, and when people cannot, we need an explanation. So they've run the alien drone, I don't know, like a playlist, the plan Z from the file. It's like, oh, we're going to have to release the drones to cover this one up. They have a plan, and now it's all murky and mixed up in, what did the government do? Are they looking for nuclear material? Are we under attack by aliens? When it's just the reality of the spirit realm is manifesting. Are these things conscious? This is another option. Maybe they are the manifestation of the demonic, the disembodied spirits of the Nephilim. Perhaps they can appear as these entities of light. It says in the Bible, no marvel, for Lucifer himself composed as an angel of light, as a being of light, And was that a physical representation, a description of this creature? Of creatures like angels, they can appear as beautiful light beings, and we need to be wary of this. Maybe it is that. Maybe these are nefarious creatures that manifest as light beings working with nefarious humans to forward the false alien invasion agenda, but really the interdimensional demonic entities that have been here for thousands of years, working on the great plan, the great work to reestablish the new Babylonian New World Order kingdom, headed up by Lucifer and Satan himself. Maybe it is that nefarious. And there's plenty of videos around, and I had someone called Nicolette from Biblically Based 101 YouTube channel, and she was explaining about how volcanoes were volcanoes didn't really exist or have a name until 1610, but they didn't really exist till Mount Vesuvius, and there's no reference to volcanoes anywhere in the Bible prior to this. And she was explaining how it seems like they only appeared during tribulation, based on this idea that tribulation has already happened in the first century, and we're living in the post-1,000-year reign in Satan's little season. But while talking about that, she's explaining how orbs are often seen coming in and out of volcano entrances, which implies they do have a consciousness, and they do have a directive, and they do have a place they can go and chill out within a volcano or underground or in the sea. Orbs coming out of the sea has been a big one as well, hasn't it, with all of this? There's a lot of footage of this as well. And it's kind of, maybe they are part of the marine kingdom, or a kingdom of Nephilim, perhaps with advanced technology that made a home for themselves under the water when the flood came. They've created quite the Atlantean Empire since then, you know what I mean? And they've got some pretty advanced, trippy, weird-looking alien technology in the sea, which bursts out every now and then and comes and messes with us here on the surface. Who knows? Again, just another idea and theory. I think it's interesting that there is plenty of evidence to say that some of these orbs are conscious and have a directive. I don't think they're manned vehicles with a little being inside of them. I think it doesn't seem that way. The orbs themselves seem alive from my observations over the years. So who knows? Who knows what's going on with that? So maybe if that's the case, then it probably blows my electromagnetic theory out of the water. But there is another one we have to discuss, another theory, another idea to pinpoint what this light phenomena is, what these metallic shifting objects are, like the cigars and the strange metal mercury looking, I don't know, Rubik's cubes in the sky. I guess it's a good way to describe their ever-changing nature. But another good thing, very good answer for this is its blue beam. There's a classic projection in the sky and the testing of technologies to create what looks like light phenomena in the sky and an invasion of aliens to go hand in hand with faking an alien invasion. And it could be that they are quite literally projecting all of this stuff while also having drones up there to like battle them and stuff and be involved in the process, so it muddies the water of there's a physical aspect and a spiritual aspect of all of this. But it could be that the drones are the ones projecting the orbs while up there, and they're just really, really messing with their advanced technologies now and their projection capabilities. And the only reason it works so well and they can create 3D projections right there that look physical and real in real time is because the atmosphere is now covered and saturated in heavy metal particles thanks to decades of a regime to put them there. And that's probably as much as I can say without triggering too many of the algorithmic. Yeah, I'll stop it there. But I think you guys know what I'm talking about. There's basically a giant LCD screen now up there, which can reflect and refract light in ways that make things look physical. And could they just be testing that? Like, it's just all working hand in hand and in tandem to like I said, beta test their abilities to project something as dramatic as an alien invasion. Can they pull it off? Because I do believe, I have come to the conclusion, and I've talked about this at length on my channel. There's many videos you can go and check out. But if you're new to this and you've never heard me talk before, and this is just I don't know, somehow you've never landed on any of my videos before and heard me say this, well, here it is. If we are in Satan's little season, there is going to be a fake alien invasion at the end of this, and that is described in Revelations 20 as Satan will deceive all the nations, and he will gather an army from the four corners of the earth, Gog and Magog, to make war with the camp of saints. This army will be the numbers of the sands of the sea. How will Satan deceive all the nations to join his army? How can he pull that off? How could he convince the whole earth to make war with Jesus if they knew it was Jesus? And the only answer is they don't know it's Jesus. He will deceive them into thinking it's something else. And the only way it makes any sense is if that when New Jerusalem becomes visible at the end of time, descending from heaven for that final great white throne judgment. In a true physical sense here, Mount Zion, New Jerusalem descends from heaven. We have all been programmed for over 100 years since Orson Welles' War of the Worlds radio broadcast, where people started shooting at the grain towers thinking they were being invaded by tripods because no one put a disclaimer at the start of his radio broadcast that it was fake, People have been prepped and primed for a giant mothership to just appear suddenly. And all the movies show humanity dropping their differences, coming together as one, united together to defend humanity from extinction. And that's the plot that's going to play out, basically. That's what the programming is for. So when Jesus descends from heaven on New Jerusalem, Mount Zion, the only thing people, normies, again to use that derogatory term, have programmed to understand what they're looking at, the only programming they can fall back on is we must be under attack by aliens. And that's likely when the powers that be will release their own UFOs, will start projecting their own crazy show in the sky using all this technology in tandem. Will start releasing the Nephilim horde from the underground pits and from the sea bases. And then monsters will be running around killing people. UFOs will be flying around, blasting buildings. And humanity will just be absolutely decimated and in absolute fear. And then all in tandem with the projection and the technologies that they've been building in these underground bases for years, and in the underwater with the Nephilim spiritual, all come together as one, and it's a giant theatrical performance. Okay, so while everyone's in the throes of being attacked by the evil controllers, pretending that the this giant mothership has released all these things upon us, when that's not true. Remember, this is just Jesus in Mount Zion. They've released their own technology upon humanity to make it seem like the mothership has done this to us. Suddenly, good aliens will turn up. Lucifer will appear as an angel of light and push back the evil invading greys or something, which he's created. It's all two sides of the same coin. It's all problem, reaction, solution stuff. They've created the problem and now they're offering the solution. Lucifer will turn up and defeat and push back the evil invading flying saucers and monsters, and the remnants of humanity will be thankful for the superheroes that just came and saved them all. These gods among men with powers beyond comprehension. And this entourage of superheroes or fallen angels, Lucifer and his pals, will offer humanity the ability to become like them. And they'll say, look, we may have pushed back the evil invading, let's use Toy Story. We've pushed back Zurg and his army for now, but they're coming back tenfold with a vengeance to finish the job. And we need to prepare humanity for this coming war, the final endgame war. So join us, humanity. Join the Galactic Federation of good planets, and to become a member of. And for Earth to become a member of the Galactic Federation, you need to take these upgrades. You need to reach a level like us. You need to have the pinnacle of technology like we do. You need to get on board with our ideologies and our religious belief systems. And basically everyone will become soft Luciferians without realizing it. They'll have joined the New Age religion for the New World Order. And they would have joined Satan's army, which he is gathering to make war with the camp of saints. And there you have it. That's how he does it. And then, lo and behold, New Jerusalem rocks up or something. Or maybe that's when the mothership appears. Maybe I've got the timing wrong. Maybe it's fake alien invasion first. And then a warning. They're coming back with the mothership. And then, boom, New Jerusalem turns up right on cue as Revelation predicted. But by this point, all of humanity has been prepared for the reveal of New Jerusalem, under the pretext that they all believe it's aliens coming to finish the job. And then, like I said, he's convinced the whole Earth to come together as one. He's created an army, the number of the sands of the sea, billions upon billions of humans, and his armies of spiritual demons that now have become manifest. Because maybe in the end, there is this breaking down, like I said earlier, of the spiritual and physical realms. And people are going to start seeing interdimensionals more. And we're going to have to integrate them into society, and this will increase the number of this army 1,000-fold, because there are millions upon billions of these spirits which will become manifest. So it adds to the number of the Sands of the Sea army. And then there you go. At the end, mothership turns up, and Lucifer, the now leader of the world, is like, "Come on, everybody, let's go get him before they finish the job. We prepared you for this. We're ready. We are well prepared to go and take this evil scourge of the galaxy down." And all of humanity will rally and scream and run towards this, fly towards, run towards, sail towards. I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't know. Maybe everyone's got superpowers by this point, and they're literally flying in the sky towards New Jerusalem with laser vision or something. I don't know. And then fire comes down from heaven and destroys everybody who made war with the camp of saints, everybody who tried to take down New Jerusalem dies instantly. Fire, just instantly burnt up from heaven. And then it's final great white throne judgment, guys. And you better pray you were covered by the blood of the Lamb. And yeah, that's it. Those who were found written in the book get to live on the new heaven and earth. And those who were not will be judged by their works. And even the Christians will be judged by their works, but it's a different judgment because they're covered. And then it's just a case of, well, where will your status be in the new heaven and earth based on your works? It's not salvation. You're saved. You get to be in the new heaven and earth. But I think the judgment comes down to, but what will your real role be in the new heaven and earth? Will you be a minister or will you be a servant, in a sense, based on those type of works. But, again, that's not a salvation issue here or there. I'll be happy to serve McFlurries in the new heaven and earth, just let me in, please. So I don't care where my station is in it. But it's kind of, everyone gets judged. It does say that in the Bible, everyone will be judged by the works, but those who have been covered by the blood of the Lamb will be saved, regardless of their works being judged. Who knows how that's going to go down? Who knows? It's not for me. Judgment is in God's hands, not mine. I can't say who is and isn't saved in these moments, and I don't know about the level of mercy and forgiveness God will have for those who were deceived into genuine believing they were under attack by aliens. Maybe there'll be some grace there that I don't understand, and how God has offered forgiveness, through his Son. So it's well within his power to forgive people who've been deceived and to understand and to have an understanding, and maybe there's something in store for them I don't know about. Who knows? But yeah, that's basically the plan. And so when you see these orbs appearing suddenly now and the mainstream media kind of normalizing it, forward planning, forward thinking, understand the agendas at work. We've been doing this research for years. We have a holistic image of what they're planning here. And this is just a stepping stone, a beta testing towards this grand narrative I've just kind of mapped out for you. That's pretty much what I think. That's where I'm at with this. I think that's what they're doing. I don't know. There's probably holes in my theory here, It's a working theory. But it does seem to make sense of most of the programming we've seen over the decades and what they're trying to prep us for in some way. I think there'll be a transhuman element to this. I think, they're hinting at it nowadays with the advancements of robotics and minor implants on people and stuff like this, and electronic tattoos and so forth, and the integration of technology within humanity is it's in the works. It's in the pipeline. But perhaps it'll be perfected when, the good aliens turn up and offer humanity the ability to be like them. It'll involve kind of like a new Mark of the Beast situation where you kind of change your image of God into their image and to the image of the devil, basically. And it'll be like a mechanical, spiritual, fleshly mix of some kind, with technology. And maybe that's where that comes to full fruition. Who knows? And during this time, I've also made videos explaining, that Christians in this time, like me, who will not fight in the war against the evil invading aliens, who will not enlist in humanity's army to go make war with the mothership, will be seen as traitors to humanity. Because on a hunch, on a gut feeling, I'm gonna probably think in that moment, I think that's Jesus, and I think this is the final great white throne judgment, and that's Mount Zion coming down from heaven. Some people are going to look at me, most people are going to look at me, and think, what on earth are you talking about? Are you insane? Aliens are currently threatening the very existence of humanity and Earth, and you're still clinging on to your backwards religion, your desert religion, from a man who died 2,000 years ago and hasn't come back. They're going to see me as like some sort of lunatic nut job, backwards, low intelligence, religious nut job, and a traitor to humanity. Like humanity, and they what they did to traitors of countries in wars in the past. They just lined them up and shot them. You run away, you don't go over the trench and march forward, you run the other way, then your commander-in-chief will shoot you in the back. Imagine what they'd do to us, who refuse to fight the evil invading aliens, you know. What would they do to us? Well, the worst they could do is take our life, I suppose. But yeah, we'd be seen as backwards lunatics, traitors, true traitors. So a lot of fun things on the horizon. 2025 is an interesting year when it comes to conspiracy, and I don't think it's a coincidence that this has just happened. I really don't. Because there's supposed to be the revealing of the world teacher, the Maitreya, according to the teachings of Alice Bailey and, you know, from Helena Blavatsky and the Theosophical Society, the think tank of all world religions becoming as one, and basically an occult New Agey type religion. The creators of the Lucis Trust, which was formerly the Lucifer, the Lightbearer magazine, you know, these are high-end today. In today's form, the Lucis Trust is now like advisors for the UN, you know, in many ways, and NATO. They are heavily involved in politics and always have been, really, as a think tank who are pushing forward this idea and agenda of the advancement of human evolution through consciousness expansion and the coming of the new age, the golden age of Aquarius. And this comes with a teacher appearing in 2025. That's the date they set, like 100 years ago, over 100 years ago. In 2025, that's when the world teacher appears. And that's who I was talking about earlier with my narrative. This is Lucifer turning up to teach the world the right way to get to God, you know, his way. And that's when soft Luciferianism will come in through the guise of like a new age spiritualism. And that's supposed to be this year. So we have that to look forward to, apparently, guys. Keep your eyes peeled for the coming world teacher of the Maitreya in 2025. Something weird's about to go down. Because these guys have a plan. And they're going to see it through. It's not that they're prophetic in nature or something, or they were, you know, they can predict the future or something. It's just that they have an agenda and they're fulfilling that agenda. And it can make them seem like prophets along the way in many ways. But no, it's they're patient. There's a long-term, multi-generational conspiracy to make this come to fruition. And the final experiment, which is supposedly put a nail in the coffin of the flat Earth model, the Gleason map, I think it is. The 24-hour sun in Antarctica, coinciding at the exact same time as UFOs turning up and aliens from space. It kind of solidifies the idea that the Earth is a globe and there is space and aliens are here all at once, you know. It's kind of, well, first of all, that the flat Earth experiment proved nothing whatsoever. It's still an enclosed system. And a lot of stuff is coming out now to say that was completely orchestrated and fake. A lot of dodgy stuff is coming out about that entire thing now, and people are no one's taking it. No one is convinced. And even if let's just say they did go to Antarctica and they did film a 24-hour sun, it still does not mean we are a ball flying through space. It's not the final experiment. That name is it's erroneous. It's silly. It's stupid to say that, and it's baity, isn't it? It's kind of like, well, you agreed that this was the final experiment. You know, this is finally it now. It's over for the flat earthers. It's kind of, well, first of all, flat earth is a stupid title, and most flat earthers are godless and in a cult of a sort surrounding it, and they are flawed individuals. And to be honest, I've never liked the term flat earther. It's cringy and it's weird. I'm a biblical cosmologist, and I don't claim to know the model. So they've not put a nail in anything for me. They've proven nothing. I believe God first before I believe man on this matter. And I'm okay not understanding God's creation and all of its fruition, because I think there are more important things for us to be focusing on right here and right now than the shape of the thing that we're living within. But I am a biblical cosmologist. So there you go. I know that sounds crazy in today's world, but the world's getting crazier, and I think me saying these things isn't as wild as it used to be. And it'll seem minor in comparison to what's right around the corner with this fake alien invasion stuff. So don't be deceived, people. That's what I'm saying here. There's many aspects and many ways to interpret these orbs and the UFOs, and I've laid out a few things here. But think of the bigger picture whenever anything like this happens. Because like I said, this is tomorrow's news now. People are going to forget about the orbs and it'll be something else. And then the orbs will turn back up again in the year's time, and they'll test the waters of people's reactions and are they ready now or what's going on. Maybe the world teacher will turn up, and kind of that'll be like an even softer easing into it. It's kind of like, I've come to pave the way for my brethren who are like 3 light years away, we're traveling at warp speed. They'll be here any day now, and I've come here to prepare the people for the coming of the Galactic Federation. I don't know. Some nonsense, some really woo sounding nonsense is about to go down, and people are primed and ready to just eat it up. They're so bored with the monotony of life. They're gonna love the alien agenda when it turns up. And you want to talk about the persecution of Christians or religious people, that's when truly it'll start to come to fruition then. And there'll be a great falling away, because where most Christians are at in their futurist eschatology, where it's waiting for tribulation to come upon the earth, they don't have in their narrative an explanation for an alien invasion. They've tried to make it out that they do, but they don't. They don't have it in there. It's not really there how it's going to play out. So things are going to play out in a way that the Bible did not say it was going to play out in Revelation. Unless they look to chapter 20 of Revelation and read that till the end. Because everyone thinks they're in chapter 13 through 16, through the tribulation before utter destruction and the bowls of wrath being poured out and all that stuff. People are thinking the mark of the beast is around the corner. They think the Antichrist still has to turn up. But when you shift focus and realize all that happened in the first century, and we're now in the little season after it all, after the 1,000 years where Satan's locked up, where he is now released, only then can the alien invasion make any sense, biblically speaking. It only squares biblically when that happens. And rejoice, because that means the Bible was true. It did tell you this was going to happen. You just weren't looking in the right spot. And it should only solidify your faith if you're a Christian and hearing this for the first time. This is not a salvation issue as long as you believe that God sent his only beloved Son to die for you so that you may have everlasting life and won't perish, then you're saved. But at the same time, if you want knowledge and to not be deceived, ask and you will receive. And I am one of thousands of people who asked, and this is what we received. And there we go, guys. So I'm going to leave that there. Thanks for listening to this ramble. In a way, I was just testing out the microphone. I hope the audio sounds good. I hope the video quality is better as well for you guys. I'll be back soon with another video, another live. I am talking with John Kerwin on Sunday on his channel about the little season, kind of a soft introduction to concept on his channel, Wake Up or Else YouTube channel. So go check him out. And I'm talking with Madeline later next month as well. But I've got a few things in the pipeline. I'm going to start reaching out to a few other channels to get them to come on, and we'll get back to business as usual now that my paternity leave is kind of over, and I'm looking forward to it. So thanks for listening, guys, and as always, God bless. Are you tired of the same old conversations? Do you often find yourself struggling to know what to say? Are you over discussing the news, sports ball, or the weather? It's time to put boring discussions behind you by leaving a copy of The Nephilim Look Like Clowns on your coffee table, your toilet, your local library, mother's car, boss's office desk, or that person you really like's bed instead.
What the hell is this?
Oh, that? Why, it's just a book about how the modern costume of a clown is a caricature of ancient giants and modern demons.
Stay away from my children.
This is a conversation you can't wait to have. My family used to think I was crazy, but thanks to The Nephilim Look Like Clowns, they know I'm crazy. The Nephilim Looks Like Clowns. It's no laughing matter.
I want you to get together.